Hi, everybody. How are you guys doing? Welcome to my broadcast network. My name is Ida. I'm here back with another health bulletin. How are you guys doing? I miss you so much. I'm excited to be here today talking to you. Today, I'm going to have a very controversial topic because every single time I talk about this topic, everybody always have their own opinion. But today, I brought some facts about it. And have you ever watched the commercials about milk and the mustache commercials? They have athletes and they have famous people watching all these different commercials saying that milk does a body good. But do you know that it really doesn't do a body good? Or does it do a body good? Well, today I'm going to be explaining to you if milk does a body good or not. Okay, what is that we are consuming? Because remember, back then, when before farming was created, you know, people, the human beings only had their mother's milk, and then once they turned a year and they went to table food, they never had to take milk from any other animal. But then when farming started, and then when they industrialized farming, then people started using milk because they have, lack of production, and there was people in the areas where they didn't have enough animals and stuff to and enough seeds to farm. Then they find out that milk was good, and they find out they can do different things with milk, and that's how milk was introduced to our foods, to the list of foods that we eat. But back then, milk didn't have as much problems when it comes to the production of milk and the farming of milk and the growth of the milk, and the way the cows were treated for the milk wasn't as bad. So the milk was not as bad for us back then. But today is a lot different. It's a lot different. So that's why I want to talk to you about this. How milk work in our bodies, and does the body good or not? Should we be drinking milk or should we not be drinking milk? Another thing is that nowadays, when we look at all the animals, all the mammals out there, and we are a mammal as well as human beings, that mother fed breast milk, all the milk is usually for the child, for the baby, for their calf, okay, for their puppies. And our milk is for our babies, and that milk is really good because it has the antibodies that the mother has, so it passes it to the baby, and every nutrient that you consuming is going to come in the milk, and that's going to be passing for the baby. But usually, in every animal, they are weaned after their infancy, and they no longer have any milk. So we are the only mammals that still drink milk even in adulthood. And that is a problem because, especially with cow milk, the cow milk have a sugar called lactose. Okay, and the lactose, we are born with an enzyme. An enzyme is a chemical that help you break down the food so that we can digest it better. Okay, so we are born with lactose, and as a baby, our body make more lactose, so we are able to break up the milk. But as we grow older, we're making less and less and less lactose until we're not making none. That's why so many of us, as we reach, teenage years and adulthood, we become lactose intolerant, and we start getting issues. The diarrhea and stomach ache and bloating and gas, all this kind of stuff. But let's start with the topic. Let me put the slides, the PowerPoint, so that you can understand everything. So milk doesn't do your body good. It doesn't, and I'm going to tell you why. Let's start on how is the milk produced. Okay, if you look at the picture, the first thing that they do to the cows, because the cows are suffering from the very beginning of this process. Okay, and the first thing that they do is that they horn the cows. After they dehorn the cows, they inseminate the cows. That means that they artificially inseminate the cows, so the cows be able to get pregnant, because the only way that we make milk as mammals is when we become pregnant. Okay, when we are having a baby, that's how we our body prepared to feed that baby, and that's how we make milk. The same thing happened with the cow, but they artificially inseminate the cows. And I'm going to be very frank about the process. This process is very nasty, because what they do is that they take the bulls and they kind of, like with machinery, they masturbate them to get the semen, so that they then can inseminate the cows. Then they separate the cow from the once the cow, get pregnant. The pregnancy of a cow usually lasts almost 9 months, like us. Okay. Once the baby is born, they within 24 to 48 hours, they remove the baby cow from the cow. from the mama cow. So do you know that baby cows, do you know that cows have the same maternal instinct that we have? So when they are separated of their babies, they are suffering. They are suffering when they are separated from the babies. Then they get into the farm and into the machinery that they hook them up in order to milk the cows. Okay, and then they milk the cow, and when the cow doesn't make any more milk, then they go back to the process of inseminating, having another baby, and they do that almost about 4 cycles. At the end of the cycle, when the cows can no longer give any more milk, the dairy cows is the cows that they use to make ground beef for hamburgers, for example. That's where they get the ground beef for hamburgers, from from the cows. And then the baby cows, what they do is they use it for two things. Either if it is a female cow, it's a female cow, they're going to grow it up so that they can wait until they hit puberty, and then they will impregnate it so that they can make milk and go through this cycle again. If not, what they do is they use it for veal. And veal is a baby cow meat that is a very expensive and kind of delicate meat in when you go to expensive restaurants and things like that. Okay, so these cows are suffering, and all these things are passing into the milk. Okay, so what things affect when it comes into the growth of the cow? Mistreating and suffering of the cow happens, and that it's changing the cells in the milk, the chemicals in the milk. Okay, the environment where the cows are growing, is it clean? Okay, are they getting too much hormones? Are they getting growth factors? They're getting antibiotics. All these things can change the way the milk is working, the way the milk is made. So it's very, very, very important for us to make sure where we're getting the milk from. Okay, and I'm going to tell everybody that is listening to me right now that I know that there are milk farms out there that they do the right thing. But the milk industry is a big industry that is making a lot of money. It's part of the control by the government and all that stuff. So they are doing what they need in order to make more money. Okay, and the faster they can produce more milk. So in order for them to do that, they're mistreating, and the way that they take care of the cows, if you can see in the picture right here, you see how they are sitting one by one, all together. There no space in order for them to move, to relax, to lay down, to sit down, or anything like that. So all those stressors that the cow go through affect the production of the milk and affect the quality of the milk that we will drink. Okay. The next thing is what are the conditions, like I was telling before. The conditions are the stress, things that affect the milk. The stress that the cows are going through, that affect the milk, because when they're going into stress, they're building more cortisol. And when they're building more cortisol, what that means, that they're raising the stress level, they're raising their blood pressure, they're raising the sugar, they're raising everything. So that goes into the milk, and we drink that, and it's happening to us the same thing. Another thing that also affect the condition of the milk is the climate. Imagine if they're all together like that and it's in a hot place. Okay, that also damage the production of the milk and the quality of the milk, because the milk can damage faster in the process of taking it out. Another thing that affect also the condition of the milk is, you see this machinery right here that is under the orders of the milk, because now the problem is that they spoil they milk the cows with machinery, meaning that when the cows, every mammal have a mechanism in their udders or our breast, that when we have an infection in our breast, it will plug in the udders, it will plug in the nipples, so milk will not come out. So if you have an infection where you're breastfeeding your baby, your breast is going to block the milk production, or the milk expression out, or the breast. But what happened with this machine is that, because it's a machine, that mucus plug that is created to stop the milk from coming out is still pull out with those machine, and all that mucus and blood and bacteria, everything is going through the through the milk. Not to mention that if that equipment is not cleaned properly, okay, it's already harboring bacteria that can cause infection. Okay, another thing is that milk have a protein called casein, and casein is an inflammatory factor that will cause inflammation in the cow, and also will bring that into the milk that can cause inflammation to us. So that's another thing that is very important. Now, there's casein A1 and casein A2. Casein A1 is the one that really is not good for our body. That's why you can find milk in the supermarket with casein A2, because the casein A2, our body can digest it better. The casein A1 is the one that we don't digest well. Okay? So those are the things that happen. This is only in the production. Then the cleaning of the area. Look at the picture in the bottom. These cows are white and black. Those, you cannot even see the white in the cows because they're not cleaned properly. If they're not cleaned properly in the back, I can imagine the others haven't been washed clean properly, and all that dirt and bacteria and feces and pee pee and everything, it's going into the milk, into the area. So that's another reason why you don't want to have milk. Another factors also that affect our quality of milk, like I was telling before, the udder's health, making sure that they don't have any infection in the udders, which means the breast. The hygiene and the collection equipment. Now, the milk are taken out. You want to make sure that the collection equipment, the storage is proper, and the temperature where they are storing the milk is proper. And then that the milk is tested. They need to be testing the milk for bacteria. They need to be testing the milk for amount of hormones in the milk. They need to be testing the milk for the amount of antibiotic in the milk. And if you have too much, they're supposed to discard that milk. Now, let me tell you something, especially when it comes to the hormones. The hormones are causing disruption in our hormonal system, imbalances in our hormonal system. Have you noticed that nowadays girls get menarche, which means they get their first period? Usually it used to be back then that you get your first period at 13, 14. Now there's girls getting their period as young as 8 years old are getting their period. Growing breasts as young as 9, 10 years old already, full size of bra, using full size of bra already. Why? Because of the hormone that they put on the milk. The hormones that they put in the milk are growth hormone. They put estrogens in the milk to make the cow produce more milk, and also they put it in the meat in order for the cow to get fatter, so that they can get more meat out of the cow as well. So those are the things that damage the quality of the milk, and it causes disease in our bodies. Okay, all those hormones, these balances that we get, then our bodies don't function good. Our thyroid get affected. Okay, the hormone imbalances is what get us fat, what get us moody, what gets us into depression and conditions like this. So that's why it's very important that we get milk that is from a source that doesn't have don't put any antibiotic. But another thing is that because of the conditions that they grow, they have to put a lot of bacteria. I mean, I'm sorry, they had to put a lot of antibiotic because of the bacteria amount that they're surrounded with. So what happened with the antibiotic now is that they are growing now antibiotic resistant bacteria, and it's coming in our milk. Okay, that bacteria is coming in our milk, and then we are consuming that bacteria. So now when we get an infection and we use an antibiotic, the antibiotic is not working anymore because our bodies are being exposed to so much antibiotic. So that's another issue. It happens a lot. Like, for example, kids that get ear infections, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, and they keep giving antibiotic, they get into a point where the antibiotics is not working anymore. And I'm sure that if you stop the milk, the infections will stop. Because what they creating an environment where the bacteria gets resistant to the antibiotic, and now the antibiotic no longer work on the bacteria. So that's another reason why we don't want to have milk, cow milk in specific. Now, what are the negative effects of pasteurization and homogenization of the milk? So what happens is that the milk that you find in the store, when you go to Publix and you go to Walmart, you went to the local grocery store, is pasteurized and homogenized. It's a process that they do in order for the milk to get, for example, the pasteurization, what they do is that they boil the milk for about 30 to 60 minutes, and the key of that, the purpose of that, is to kill as much bacteria as you want. But the key with that is that, yes, they kill some of the bacteria. But imagine, just for sake of conversation over here, let's say that you get a microscopic roach and you kill the microscopic roach. but it's dead, but the molecules of it is still there in the milk. You're drinking that milk, and your body, your immune system is looking at those particles. Those microscopic particles are something that doesn't belong there, and it starts to attack your body, and that's what chronic inflammation starts. So yes, they're killing some of the bacteria, but the residue of the bacteria is still there in microscopic amounts of it. That's still causing problem. So the problem with also with the pasteurization is that when they boil the milk, they're killing the enzymes. You see, milk have a lot of good proteins and gotta have a lot of good enzymes, but the process of pasteurization kills all those enzymes and kills all those bacteria, the good bacteria. Meaning that when you're drinking that milk, you're killing the good bacteria in your microbiome, causing leaky gut and causing the gas and causing the inflammation and causing the bloating and the diarrhea and all that kind of stuff. Because now we don't have the enzymes to break down that milk. We don't have the good enzymes and the good protein that the milk make. Another thing that the pasteurization does is that denature. That means they break down the amino acids and proteins that the milk have. So you're not getting any nutrients. You're not getting the good protein that you're supposed to be getting from the milk. You're not getting it because it's been denatured, it's being break down. Okay? And then it's also damaged a lot of the vitamins and minerals that the milk have, because it does, because that's the milk that is given to a baby, that's all it's going to eat and it's going to grow with. Okay? All those vitamins and minerals are break down also with and damaged with the process of pasteurization. Even the calcium, the calcium that is in the milk, it got processed by the pasteurization in a way where the body cannot use it. So what they do, they fortify with calcium and vitamin D, because now they damage it. So now they have to fortify the milk with calcium and vitamin D, especially with vitamin D. And what they do is that they put vitamin D2. Okay, and vitamin D2 is synthetic vitamin D. So for all of you out there that the doctor is telling you that the vitamin D is low and he's giving you a prescription of vitamin D, well, he's giving you a prescription of vitamin D2 because that's the one that's going to make the money to the pharmaceutical companies. But what you need to consume, the one that is more viable to the body and is the right vitamin D that you need to consume, is vitamin D3. Okay? So if you got to tell the doctor, I want vitamin D3, I don't want the synthetic vitamin D2. I want vitamin D3. Or you can just go and buy, you can go to any pharmacy, you can go to any health food store, and you can buy vitamin D3. And we're supposed to take anywhere from 2,000 international unit to 5,000 international unit a day. Okay, and the way that we make vitamin D is standing in the sun. You want to stand in the sun without any sunblock. If you are fair skin, you want to be between the time of 8 in the morning and 11 in the morning. At least you want to be half an hour in the sun without any sunblock before you put anything to protect yourself. If you are darker, then you have to be a little bit longer on to produce. But if you're a person that works inside all day, most likely you are lacking vitamin D and you need vitamin D. So that's the effect of the pasteurization. Now, when they do the homogenization, I don't know if I pronounce it correctly, but I think that's the way you say it. What they do that is to make the milk creamier and to break down the fat molecules. But when they break the fat molecules by doing this process, what they're doing is they oxidize the fat. Now, the good fat that the milk have, they make it into bad fat. Now, this is the fat that will clean into the walls of your arteries and cause the cholesterol to rise up and cause the chronic inflammation and cause the heart disease. And that's the kind of fat that do that, because now the good fat that the milk did had now is converted into bad fat when they do the homogenization, and it becomes like hydrogenated vegetable oils. Okay, that they're hydrogenated so they can last longer. So when they do that, they're not only making the milk creamier, but they're also making milk last a little longer than usual. So that so they can go through the process of packaging and delivering and getting to the grocery store and getting to the people's houses before you can drink it before they expire. Okay, so this is really something in the process that is wow. Then the next thing is that the sugar in milk is called lactose. And that's the sugar in milk. But when they do the harmonization, you break down the lactose to beta lactose. What beta lactose do is increase the amount of sugar in your milk, increasing your blood sugar and increasing your insulin. making more risk for heart disease, more risk for diabetes if that is happening. So literally, when you're drinking pasteurized and homogenized milk, which is the milk that you find in that store, you just drinking a glorified white drink with a lot of oil, sugar, and nothingness. So it's not doing what they said that it do, that it does the body good. Plus, when we're talking about the calcium, for example, the calcium that they have when it's harmonized is not really consumed by the body, and then the one that they add, it has been proven that calcium is not what make the bones stronger. It is needed, but it doesn't make the bone stronger. They said that there's many countries that when they compare the countries that they consume more milk to the countries that they consume little milk, and the risk of fractures and bone damage, and the risk of osteoporosis, the people that drink more milk have more risk of osteoporosis, have more risk of fractures and damage to the bones than the people that doesn't drink hardly any milk. Because what calcium does is that make the bone hard. But if the bone is hard and not malleable, like rubbery kind of deal, that's what the I forgot the word. The calcium make it hard, but you also want the bone to be spongy, where it's resistant to to heat, somebody heating it and everything, and it don't break easy. But when it's hard, it's brittle. It's like a peanut butter brittle that you can just click and break it right fast. That happens when you take in too much calcium. So what the body really needs is more vitamin D. What the bones really needs more vitamin D instead of the calcium. So why are the things? Why is the reason that you don't want to drink the milk? Like I said before, it's no proof that they prevent fractures. There's no proof that prevent osteoporosis. It doesn't have any good vitamin D or calcium. Okay, they added hormones that create hormone imbalance and increase your risk for cancers. Okay, because for example, all the estrogen that they put into the cows, it will increase the risk of prostate cancer and breast cancer, for example. When they homogenize the fat, you get the beta lactose that increase your risk of obesity and increase your risk of heart disease. Also, milk increase your mucus production, which that means that it's bad for your lungs. That's why when you have a cold or when your baby have a cold, what does the doctor first tell you? Stop giving milk for a few days. What? To stop the mucus production that make your lungs congested, increasing the risk of asthma and bronchitis and mucus in your digestive system that is going to cause leaky gut and kill the good bacteria. So that's another reason why you don't want to have milk. Another thing is because of allergies. If you have allergies to milk, if you have intolerance to lactose, if you have allergies to the casein, that is going to be causing more inflammation into your body. That's another reason why you don't want to take milk. And another reason that you don't want to take milk is because the antibiotics that they put into the milk increase the resistant antibiotic bacteria. It damages your microbiome, causing dysbiosis, meaning that the balance between good and bad bacteria is bad, and it also suppresses your immune system. Remember, the 70% of your immune system is in your gut, and it's all controlled by your good bacteria. If you don't have any good bacteria, enough good bacteria to be balanced, then it's going to be suppressing your immune system, because all the tools that the immune system need to order to work right is not going to be there. So those are the reason why you don't want to have milk, especially if it is a regular milk that you buy in the store that is pasteurized and homogenized. I know that these words are so long; it's hard to talk to them, or to pronounce them. But I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Thank you, Jesus, for that. So, what about raw milk? Because you could say, "Oh, this Ida is talking about bad about milk, so much bad things about milk." But what is good about milk? So the thing is that raw milk is a good alternative. But the thing is that in order to be a good alternative, it have to be free range. It have to be fed the right foods, be in the wild where they can eat all kind of different grasses and all kind of different plants, so that they can make so the milk can come with a lot of phytonutrients and a lot of good nutrients in it. Okay, and only that need to be collected in a very strict hygiene. The hygiene of the cow, or the area, of the environment, of the collecting of the milk, because what happens is that raw milk have a more incident of producing bacteria, Okay, because milk can feed bacteria. That's another thing. If you already have some other type of infection in your body, milk help feed bacteria as well. So that's another reason why you don't want to have regular milk. But when you do the raw milk, they have more an incidence of collecting bacteria. That's why the process of it have to be so careful and so clean in order for you to consume it. And it's almost kind of impossible to do that process, that even here in the United States, the growth or the consumption of raw milk is illegal in almost 17 states. But the benefits that you can have of having raw milk, if you were able to have the raw milk, is that the raw milk have all the proteins that we need and amino acids. It has the good vitamin D3 that we need to consume. It have good probiotics, I mean good bacteria. They have good enzymes. It got good phytonutrients because they're eating out of different plants and out of different grasses, getting all the phytonutrients in the glass, all the antioxidants and all the things like that. It also have CLA, which is called conjugated linoleic acid, that love to burn fat. It's used to burn fat. So people that are losing weight, they usually go to the health food store and buy CLA to consume to help them with the burning of fat. Okay, the saturated fat in the milk, when it's raw milk, is good for good cholesterol because it increase your good cholesterol. So it's good for the digestive system and it's good for your heart disease. That if it's raw milk. Now they find out, like in the blue zones. Blue zones are places where people are healthy and living above 100 years old. So they find out, Dr. Hyman find out in Sardinia, one of the blue area, that they do consume a lot of milk over there, but the milk and a lot of cheese, but the milk that they consume over there is goat milk. Okay, so that milk is they consume it raw, and the goats over there are eating out of all kind of different plants and things like that. So when they did examination into that milk is rich on phytonutrients and on vitamins and on minerals and all that, and they were able to consume that milk and be healthy with it because of the amount of good things that the goats were consuming. Okay, so those are the benefits of having raw milk. So if you're able to consume or able to find, a place that or you growing the cow yourself. I don't know if you noticed, but when you look at the movies of farms like Little House on the Prairie, for example, they used to milk the cow daily and consume that milk that day. They did it on a daily basis. They didn't store because they didn't have refrigerators or anything like that. So they were able to consume it the same day, meaning that they were not storing it and creating a situation where bacteria was able to grow in the milk. Plus, everything was very clean. Plus, our bodies at that time were not exposed to so many bad things, so we had all the enzymes and everything that we needed in our body in order to process and digest that milk properly. So that's why it was good to have raw milk back then. Now, if you are worried about where I'm going to get my vitamin D, where I'm going to get my calcium, well, there's many places where you can get it. As you can see, you can get your calcium in all the greens. You can get your calcium in broccoli, pumpkin seed, bok choy, chia seeds, sesame seeds, Brussels nuts, almonds, collard greens, avocados, asparagus, and the list go on and on and on. So you can get, even if you're a vegetarian, you're able to get all the calcium that you need for your body from your food. And then when it comes to your vitamin D as well, you can get your vitamin D, of course, from the sun. That's the first way you want to get it. And then you can get it from cod liver oil. You can get it from mackerel fish. You can get it from salmon, from sardines, from tuna, from mushrooms, from raw milk. Okay, if you were to having the raw milk. And then listen, another thing I noticed when I was doing the research for this, that a lot of the people that were doing the research were including fortified orange juice, because you can buy fortified orange juice that have calcium and vitamin D. The problem with that is, remember, it's synthetic calcium and vitamin D, and the things that are synthetic, usually our bodies do not metabolize it properly. Plus, we're not getting the amount that we need and the quality that we need. So we're talking about getting what we're supposed to be getting. That is very, very important for us to consume the things that the body needs in order for the body to work in the highest healing potential. It is essential for us to know this information, to know which milk we're going to pick, and if we're going to consume milk or not, because remember that as ambassadors of the kingdom of God, we need to be healthy and strong so we can fulfill the mandate and the purpose that God has put in our lives. If we are not healthy, okay, we are not able to fulfill what the Lord has said for us to fulfill. So it is essential for us to be able to have a diet where we can consume more of the things that the Lord wants us to consume. So what are the alternatives of milks? What can we consume instead? So they have soy milk, they have rice milk, they have hemp milk, they have oat milk, they have almond milk, they have hazelnut milk, coconut milk, and cashew milk. Now, my favorite milks are the almond milk, and I like a lot also the coconut milk. When it comes to soy milk, here in America, if you're here in the United States and you're listening to me, when it comes to the soy milk, you want to make sure that the soy that is being used to make that milk is organic soy. Because 99.99% of all the soy consumed and grow here in America is GMO, means genetically modified, meaning that soy milk tend to have an ingredient that mimic estrogen, that create more estrogen. So if you're using the one that is a GMO, that means that you are creating more increase of the estrogen in the body, increasing the risk of breast cancer for ladies, and increasing the risk of on boys or men, having more estrogen, meaning that they can have, male breasts and things like that. So, you have to be very careful when it comes to soy milk. I like rice milk, but I don't like it so much because I feel it's too watery. I like oat milk as well too, but oat milk have a lot more. If you are watching your weight and watching the calories, okay, then oat milk have a little bit more calories than almond milk will do. And then I love coconut milk because I love the flavor of the coconut milk also, and the health benefits and the good fat in the coconut. So, but it also have more calories than the almond milk. Okay, so when you come to calories, the ones that are lower in the calories will be the rice milk and the almond milk, if you're looking for that. Then the cashew milk and the other ones and the hazelnut milk, they taste more like that. Those nuts, I don't like too much the flavor. I might have the hazelnut milk in coffee, probably, but I don't like cashew milk very much. I have had it before, but I don't like it very much. But this is other alternative that you can have in order to make sure that you have the right milk. And these milks have good amount of calcium and good amount of vitamin D, and they are healthy. They're low in calorie. They don't have the bad fats on it. So these are the kind of milk. And then another thing is that it's easy to make at home, because what happened also that even alternative milk, when they do the process, they put things like, for example, in this alternative milk, they put something called carrigan, and they use the carrigan in order to emulsify the milk, so that when you put it in a container, it doesn't separate the water from the milk. So that's why they put the carrigan. But the carrigan is not good for your body. Okay, it's not good for your body, not good for digestion. They have some people have said that it even can cause some type of cancer, but I'm not sure about that. That's not like they are sure. Some studies say so, some studies no. They're not sure about that, but it's still carrying, and it's not good for you. So it's better if I have a little machine here in my house where I make my own almond milk and my own coconut milk in the house. That way you know what is in it and how much you put in it. And then you also know, because they have to put preservative for the milk. Have you noticed that regular cow milk lasts maybe 10 days in your refrigerator? But do you know that almond milk or soy milk, they last up to a month in it, because they put preservatives as well. Some of the companies put preservative as well. So you want to make sure that doesn't have any preservative or anything like that, and that doesn't have any sugar. Some of them added sugar. They have now the almond milk with vanilla and sugar, or vanilla without the sugar, or plain. I like it totally plain. Some people need a little bit of flavor. That's okay, but they're also adding sugars to it. So you have to make sure of that. And then if they add chocolate and things like that, you want to make sure it's dark chocolate that they put it in, so that doesn't damage the quality and nutrition that in the milk as well. So that is very important. So after you listen to me, I want you to tell me, what do you think about milk? Are you going to be drinking milk? Are you going to be wearing the white mustache? when it comes to cow milk, or are you going to put cow milk aside and start using alternative milk? And then not only that, remember that dairy comes not only in the forms of a glass of milk, but it comes in yogurt. And this is the thing about yogurt. Yogurt could be a good thing because of the good bacteria in yogurt, but the fact is that most of the yogurts in the grocery store have tons and tons of sugar. So what happens is that it kills the good bacteria that already has in because of the sugar. So if you want to buy yogurt, you want to make sure that you buy yogurt that have more live bacteria in it, and yogurt without the fruits or anything like that. That is totally plain, and then you add the fruits or whatever you want to add yourself. Okay, you can also have kefir. Kefir is more made out of the raw milk, and that's a lot healthier. They put a lot more bacteria, so you can have the kefir is a and more, but that doesn't still it's still milk, so it's still gonna make mucus inside your system. It still can cause a little bit of inflammation. It is a little bit healthier when it comes to the amount of good bacteria and the amount of proteins and stuff like that, but it still can cause that inflammation in the stomach and things like that. So make sure. Another thing is the cheese. The cheese is also another issue that can cause issues into your body, but at the same time, the cheese have less lactose, and then because of the process of manufacturing the cheese, than regular milk. So sometimes some people might tolerate a little bit of cheese, but not tolerate a glass of milk. So that's another thing that you have to think about. But you can have goat cheese instead, and that will be really good. And they are good vegan cheese out there that tastes really good as well. So thank you so much for the opportunity today. I hope you all we watch this video and share so a lot of people can be informed. So our brothers and sisters, ambassadors in our diplomat centers will be informed of everything that they're supposed to do in order to keep their body healthy and whole. Remember that the doctor is responsible for your sick care, but yes, you are responsible of your health care. The doctor is not the one that's going to tell you what kind of milk you have to drink, how you're going to eat, or anything like that. They might give you a very broad of what to eat and things like that, but they're not there in your house putting the things in your mouth. They're not there in your house making sure that you exercise. They're not here in your house making sure that you read the word of God and that you rest and do all the things that you need in order for you to be in optimal health. So make sure that you take control and that you become that CEO of your body and your health so that you can become a great ambassador of the word of God. Thank you so much. And I see you next week, I think it is, or the week after, with another health bulletin.